What's going on, guys? Fico here, and welcome to Fico's Gaming Mind. It's sort of said that way. Okay, alright guys. Now, I've touched on this subject before, and I even made a rant about how Nintendo was treating Let's Players. I believe it was around last year that I made a video where I expressed the frustration in Nintendo suddenly activating Content ID, and it went on a Content ID spree, and it started marking everybody with Content ID claims, and suddenly they were finding their videos becoming Nintendo's videos. I said this was wrong, and I said that Nintendo should have thought about this before doing it, because I expressed that they were doing this because they were having issues selling the Wii U. Not much has changed, and even though we are getting a bunch of good titles this year, as well as a couple of other first-party titles, the Wii U still hasn't incorporated itself into what Nintendo wants it to be. Part of it's because they have probably the worst marketing ever. Now all of a sudden, Nintendo wants to do something even, what I would consider to be even dumber. And I'd say this is dumber because this isn't as much as a solution. This is sort of like a half solution. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Nintendo planning some kind of YouTube revenue splitting affiliate program. So basically, this is according to what Joystiq says, and apparently this is word for word. It says that Nintendo is planning a revenue sharing affiliate program for those using gameplay footage of its games on YouTube. Video bloggers and Let's Play creators alike will need permission from the publisher to broadcast their gameplay clips, according to two tweets from the publisher, as translated by Gamasutra. Now, the new affiliate program would see ad revenue from videos split amongst Nintendo, Google, and the video creators themselves. Nintendo is apparently getting a head start, as it has already targeted recent gameplay videos, placing their advertisements on this. Now, it also says that it doesn't know whether this will affect Twitch streams, because Twitch is apparently going to get bought by YouTube. No official word, it was just a report that was done, I think it was a week ago. So who knows how that is going to mix into all of this. I do not know how extensive Content ID is going to be with the Twitch streams, but let's get back to Nintendo. So Nintendo found themselves in a heap load of flack last time when they became partnered into YouTube, and they decided to just let Content ID manage everything. And sooner or later, Let's Players and many people who were using Nintendo content, they were finding themselves getting Content ID strikes. Now, like I mentioned before, Content ID just only means that if you get identified as it using copyrighted content, all that is the Content ID system acknowledged, found that you were using content that didn't belong to you based on metadata that get loaded into Content ID. They are the ones that set up these parameters in order for the videos to get detected by this Content ID system. It's bullshit, because it's all done robotically. They don't have any interaction. They're not physically blocking or declaring copyright strikes. It's all being done by a robot. They just enter the parameters, they enter what to do with them. And apparently from that point, all that it has done from now, Nintendo hasn't outright just started closing up channels and shit. It's just that they have just made the videos monetizable by them. That was it. And now apparently Nintendo is still not finding the logic that using gameplay footage is good for them because it lets them know they're still around. They can't accept that truth because they live in the Stone Age. Now apparently they have come to sort of like a middle ground, but it's not really a middle ground. It's just exclusion now. Now apparently their idea of seeing the bright side is now you have to share your content or money, the money that you make from this video that you made that Nintendo had nothing to do with. Instead of them just flat out taking everything, they're kind of sort of splitting it up. Now they say it's an affiliate program. Now that I understand, it's sort of like Nintendo creating its own YouTube network. As you know, there's managed networks and there's affiliate networks. And Nintendo is, I think, trying to do the same thing. And it's sort of like a happy medium, sort of like you don't get the full revenue, but because it's a Nintendo program and you're part of the affiliate program, Nintendo gets to, you know, share the revenue with you. I mean, I guess you can say that Nintendo is sort of happy doing about this, but in reality, they are one of the most least understanding companies I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand why is it that every single company, the big three companies like Ubisoft and EA and Activision and all these people don't have any problems with people using their gameplay content because it's good for them. Nintendo's the only one that does not understand this. Does not get it. They do not get it. I mean, they want to charge you for buying the consoles. They want to charge you for buying the games. But that's not good enough for them anymore. Now they want to charge you for sharing gameplay footage. So they are basically nickel and diming YouTubers. They're not outright closing the channels, but they are flat out just stealing money away from them. Now, a lot of people will say, like I said before, yes, this technically belongs to Nintendo. All of the gameplay footage belongs to Nintendo. And straight up loading gameplay footage of the whole game could provide a case in order, you know, people can make a case about that. People can make a case that, look, all they're doing, they're distributing gameplay footage. But you know what? They are just expressing their gameplay experience for it. They're not doing that. I mean, they're not doing it to flat out just ruin the experience. They are offering their take on it. But Nintendo clearly doesn't get it. And now they're doing an affiliate program. And this could start a bad trend because then they could probably go be like, oh, you know what? Nintendo's got an affiliate program. Maybe EA should do it. That means now that EA can probably just go to YouTube and be like, oh, we'd like to start an affiliate program, and then we would like to start charging people, getting people to join our affiliate program, so then they could just do our games and they won't get flagged. And it'll be this sort of like bad chain reaction in which now game companies control what gamers upload onto YouTube. Nintendo, the company that I thought it was all about the games, didn't care about what the other companies were doing, suddenly now are being as douchier as ever. And it's funny because in Mario Kart 8, there's a function that you could share with highlights. You can create your little highlights and you could upload them to YouTube. So if it's 720p movie snips, it's like a minute, I think, for each one you could load up. So what does that mean? Does that mean that that function is going to be like, oh, you know what? you can upload these clips to YouTube, but then we'll content ID them because those clips don't belong to you. And I was watching a video by Boogie2988, and he sort of just kind of like made this really interesting, he made it sound like if it was a conspiracy theory thing, but it made it sound like Nintendo purposely added that function so that people would load videos for their YouTube channels in order for them to content ID these videos, so then that becomes free ad revenue for Nintendo. That makes perfect sense. Nintendo has never had this option ever. They have never offered this option to any of their games, and suddenly now they want to do this function right around the time where they're starting to create this affiliate program in which now they're going to nickel and dime YouTubers that use Nintendo content. Now, because of the content ID bullcrap they pulled last year, a lot of people have not talked about Nintendo on YouTube, and they are afraid because Nintendo could then just go on a slaughter campaign, as they have apparently gone again, starting claiming gameplay footage that does not technically belong to them. I mean, the video does not belong to them. The gameplay footage is, okay, technically theirs, but fair use should mean something. Apparently it doesn't anymore. It didn't mean anything to them last year, and it doesn't mean anything to them this year, obviously, and I find this so inappropriate, and it's kind of weird because last year this sort of happened around this time as well. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but it's weird how Nintendo needs people to be on their side. And E3 is coming right around the corner, a few weeks away. And Nintendo is going to do this. And I'm sure they're going to bring this up on E3. I'm almost positive they're going to bring this up on E3. And God knows, that is just going to make them look even worse. Now, I don't know what games they're going to bring up. I don't know if they're going to even be there to do a live presentation. I don't know if it's going to be that schlocky presentation that we've got last year, where there were a bunch of good highlights, but piss poor lazy effort and execution. Now, I don't know if it was because they were in trouble last year. They're definitely in trouble this year, but to be fair, if they're going to be this douchey, then they deserve to be in the state that they are right now. I don't know if this YouTube affiliate program is a desperation move for Nintendo to get revenue when they can't find it. Even if the 3DS, we all know that they're losing money. They didn't meet their lowered projections for this year. They've had losses, and still there's no change in the command structure. Things are still sailing as though nothing is happening. And now they're doing this. So now, and it's kind of unclear because you do multiple, if you're part of a network, if you want to do Nintendo, does that mean that you have to be a part of another network? Are you part of two networks? This is all confusing. This is all very, very confusing. I don't know if you have to sign some kind of agreement, if it's sort of like a contract. I don't know, but this is going to discourage people from uploading content onto YouTube for Nintendo. And Nintendo needs people to know that this system is still alive. You get what I'm saying, Nintendo? You get what I'm trying to tell you? You are screwing yourselves. You are doing this. You're doing yourselves a disservice. You are burying yourselves deeper. This is you. Your head is almost in the ground. You're almost buried. You cannot expect people to spread the word in Nintendo's still alive and take away their revenue because you don't think they deserve a piece of the work that they did using your content. Okay, you know what? I said it before and I'll say it again. This will only just get people to not use your content. And if they won't use your content, then it's only just you guys promoting it. And you guys do a shitty job. Because if you guys had any marketing chops nowadays, you would not be in this hole. And we all know you guys are terrible at marketing the Wii U. You guys are on the verge of seeing this thing go away. And I don't think that this E3 is going to save you. You have to stop this, Nintendo. You have to get with the times, and you have to just allow people to use the content freely. You have no idea how much that will help you. That will help you. That will help you. Seriously, there's absolutely no downsides on letting them do this. They get to make a little money, and you guys still are relevant. Because people will find you, will find content. People will be able to review your games. People will be able to talk about your games, play your games, show people what they think, but they can't because they're afraid of feeling your wrath. And it's funny because you guys are a cute company, and I never thought wrath would be something you guys would be capable of having. But I guess I'm wrong. But that's it. I mean, I've got nothing else to say except one more thing, and that is that I really do hope Nintendo gets its shit together, because if they do this, that's just another nail in the coffin. Started pretty badly. This is only going to get worse. But from what it looks like, Nintendo really, I don't know who's commanding things over there, but it almost seems as though they're not even interested in saving themselves. It's almost as if they're plotting their failure on purpose. But maybe they're just stubborn. But whatever the reason, this is a bad move. Change it. Do yourself a favor. It is not too late. Just drop this whole thing. Okay? It's a bit of a compromise. It's better than last time, than taking away their whole revenue, but this is still not a good solution. Leave YouTubers alone, Nintendo. Let them be. Let them roam around. Let them experiment. Let them explore. Let them do their job. They're not telling you what to do with your games. You shouldn't tell them what to do with their videos and then just not even give them a choice. Just take away their ad revenue. Or part of their ad revenue. So, but anyway, that was just what I wanted to say. And you want to follow me down on social media, just links are below. Leave a comment if you like, subscribe, and like this video if you want. And as always, my name is Fika. And that was my gaming mind. And Nintendo, the ball's in your court again. You're gonna swing it back and make and score, or are you just gonna fault it again? E3's coming. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.